Welcome, sports fans. Welcome, rugby fans. Welcome, United States Military Academy Black Knight fans. My name is Mike Eisenhardt, and I'm going to be bringing you all the live action here tonight at the Anderson Rugby Complex in Warrior Field here at the United States Military Academy, where we will see shortly rugby. Walsh University and the United States Military Academy Black Knights will face off in the home opener. This week's first matchup of the weekend. There'll be several others that will be coming up shortly. And as we sort of see some beautiful scenery here at the USMA, we will be bringing to you the lineups and all of the action briefly. So stay with us. We'll be getting the cameras up and rolling as the teams are slowly making their way to the field. We should have better streaming for you as we get rolling. We got some music in the background, probably providing a little bit of excess noise. But for right now, thanks for being with us. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more action as we get ready here at Anderson Rugby Complex.
All right, sports fans, we have 5 minutes left here before we start the action on field. You can see the countdown clock. We're on the field, and Welsh is moving to the sideline. We'll bring up the lineups for you shortly, as the Black Knights will be running out any second. You will see how to come. Sports fans, we have a little bit of work in pregame. Just going to break out the lineups here, doing some announcements. So we're going to keep the mics down because we're going to minimize the feedback while we're doing that. And then we'll flash the lineups on the screen. We're about 3 minutes before we start the action. We're expecting a great match here at Anderson. So to start by just flashing up the Walsh lineup here. Let's go ahead and get you up there so you can see who will be on the screen. Tonight, the starters for Walsh, wearing number 1 jersey, Daniel Franco, wearing number 2, Garrett O'Connell, wearing 3, Tanner Smith, wearing 4, John Rice, wearing 5, Jaden Kelly, wearing 6, Colton Weber, wearing 7, Josh Gouldy, wearing 8, Marcus Jansen Van Buren, wearing 9, the vice captain, Clemente Aguirre, number 8 was the captain. Number 10, Thomas Rojas. Number 11, Ayabonga Nico. Number 12, Nicola Vitosi Coronetti. Number 13, Jake Torek. Number 14, Nathaniel Greenfield. Number 15, Eric McKinney. The finishers for Walsh, Christian Herbst, Luke Dotson, Javon McCoy, Harry Devlin, Armin Toko, Samba, number 21, Tristan Killian, and number 22, Evan Schritt, along with Ben Cassidy, rounding out the Walsh lineup. And now, your Black Knights. Wearing 1, the senior, Wagner. Wearing number 2, the captain. 3, Isaac Carter, the sophomore. Wearing 4, Hartford. Wearing 5, Leach. Wearing 6, Engels moved out from the engine room and onto the flank. Wearing 7, Whiskey, the senior. Wearing 8, Jacon Duffy. Wearing 9, Isaac Gamboa. Wearing 10, Sanchez. Wearing 11, Matt Leslie. Wearing 12, Mr. Loudenbach. Wearing 13, Schmidland. 14, Ledford. 15, the vice captain Heller. And your finishers are Brock Anderson, Jacob Badarini, Gabe Savage, Liam Walsh, George Hemmen, Robert Knight, Richard Corbett III, and Jack Reed. So as the teams make their way, we're going to have the national anthem, and we're going to have some opening remarks. And with me, joining with me here, is Major Colin McGee. Colin, it's great to have you.
Yes, sir. Good to see you again, Mike.
So we just read the lineups. We're going to be getting things going here very shortly. And then the game should be up and running. So, with only a few seconds before the kickoff, tell me about the Army team. What's happened, where we're at, or the season, and what are we expecting?
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Great start to the 25-26 campaign last weekend up in Toronto against the University of Guelph, a 38-28 victory for your Army Black Knights. A really, really good quality win. Coach Sherman commented on that he wanted to start with a tough opponent, and I think Guelph gave us that, and we started a new cup, the Cannon Cup. So we go up to Guelph in the fall. They come down to West Point in the spring. We play on aggregate, and we're up 10-0. So hopefully we can get the cup and win it officially in the spring. But excited to talk more about the last week and what Coach wants to see this week.
Well, we've got some noise here on its way, so that makes us think that the Black Knights are making their way to the field. We're going to pause the conversation for just a minute because this way we know we've got the squads out. There's going to be the national anthem, which we will pause and show some respect for, and then get this game underway. So with that, we'll mute the microphones, and we'll be right back with you at home. national anthem, and the teams have taken the pitch. We should be expecting any moment now the opening kickoff.
Yeah, Mike, if you don't mind, no better way to start an Army rugby game than a Sally Myers national anthem. Sally Myers is a classmate of mine, class of 2015. For those we lead, married another classmate, Dan Myers, and she's been doing that since we were cadets. So special to have her here and to get us started that way.
Yeah, really well done, and hats off for sure. So that gets the energy up. That gets, I think, things feeling real good here. Let's talk quickly about the Walsh team. So my understanding, and maybe you've got a better understanding, but my understanding is that as Notre Dame College sort of broke up, the college itself is no longer in existence. It has since gone by the books of history. Many of the players from that very successful program have transferred over and are now at Walsh. Is that your understanding as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. So that rugby program from Notre Dame College, different than the Notre Dame College folded into Walsh University, and we have a 3-3-1 record with Notre Dame College and a 1-0 record, a victory last year against Walsh. So, in aggregate, it's Army 4-3-1 if you combine those. So I think we should have a good match on our hands tonight.
And we're off. So the opening kick is taken by Gamboa, who sends it, looks to clear the zone, and does. And so now Walsh will get to work around their 22. Big contact right off the bat, just as you'd expect. Ball is jarred loose. Referee says it's fine, play on, but then it looked to be knocked on. So as the number one, the prop came through for Walsh and tried to handle it. Unfortunately, knocked it on. Referee appears to be pointing that West Point knocked it on first. And so that means the scrum will go to Walsh.
Quickly, a little bit about Walsh, Mike. Big, heavy, physical forward pack. We might have just got a preview of that right there. A rather strong carry at the midfield. Direct play, a blitz defense, but potentially some discipline issues. I was talking to their coach prior to the game, Coach Cornell Britz. An 18-1 penalty count difference last weekend at Notre Dame. That included 5 yellow cards. And to still get a result out of that, I'm not sure how you do that.
Yeah, that's fairly lopsided. So I think that's kind. Some discipline issue potential. We'll see if that's cleaned up today and they get some things sorted out. So the first take is into contact there by the number 12. It's sealed off. Referee says, yep, penalty, failing to roll. And so Gamboa got a little trapped under. That's pretty heads-up play for Walsh. Did a good job of just trapping him under there. Looks like that's going to be them calling their shot, trying to get in early, get on the board early. And this is Jake Tolick, who I believe had several kicks last week, the 13. So the team makes its way out, and this looks like, probably just on their side of 40 meters. So let's call it 38.
Rather calm, no wind down here on the Hudson Valley on Warrior Field. Just a couple more comments about that victory last week for Army, and some thoughts from Coach Munkin or from Coach Sherman after we see this kick here.
So Tolick lines up. Good strike, looks to be straight and true, and the flags go up. So that's going to add 3 to the score line and get us open with Walsh getting the initial points. So 2.5 minutes in, Army is going to kick off, and a bit of a punishment there for the penalty. We'll see if they look to react a little faster next time.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to attend the jersey presentation last night. It was really great to have Lieutenant Colonel Kelly Calloway there as the new Deputy Military Athletic Director.
Kick is up. Does not appear to make it 10. Referee goes to the whistle and gives Walsh the choice. So for those at home who are maybe not as familiar with the game, the restart kick must travel 10 meters in the air. If it doesn't, the opposing team has the choice of whether to take a scrum at the center or have a re-kick. It's almost never a re-kick.
Too early errors by Army. We had the knock on scrum center, the kick not going 10, as well as the penalty. And this goes right into some of our successes last week. Coach talked about vigilance, getting on the right side of the law, keeping your penalty count down, in a tough 3.5 minute start. But I think we're all just getting our feet under us.
So there's the call. Ball is placed. Good hard drive by the men in black. Looks to be turned. Referee has the arm out, says that is a penalty. We'll see what the call is. Playing advantage, the ball comes out to the right far end of the field and is met with some contact. Referee says no advantage gained. We're going to come back for the penalty. And appeared to be on the ground is the call. So somebody did not maintain their feet. And once again, Walsh calls their shot, this time from nearly 50 meters or right at the 50-meter mark. So that is an ambitious strike, so kicker must be a big, confident part of their game.
A couple of crucial things that Coach Sherman left with the team last night. You got to take the next step forward. The past is the past. Get better every week. We got to set our new best this week.
So Tolhook once again lines up for the kick. It is a solid strike. Appears to have fallen short, which means it is a live ball. Army reacts appropriately, and now they look to clear it out. That looked like it could have been Sanchez with the clearance kick. Now the ball comes back in. And bobbled, but seems to, referee has the arm out, which says advantage. So that knock on is going to go the way of Army, in which case we'll see the Army put in for the scrum.
A bit of a just disjointed start. A little bit of an awkward kick received by Walsh in the corner there. Looks like there was a bit of a collision, but good to see the arm going West Point's way for this scrum.
So we'll see Army's first attempt at a put in and see what they've got ready on the attacking side. So they're just inside the 50 on their end, so the defending end. Referee says, we're going to reset the scrum because doesn't like what he sees, possibly just realigning things. It is a lot of pressure in there, and certainly safety comes first.
As we look to reset, I think the biggest build on that Coach Sherman wanted to see and improve is the defensive shape. Are we firing? Are we icing up? It was a rather dynamic backline by that Guelph team, including a capped Canadian player. And they exposed us a little bit early in the second half with some long tries. So once we see that portion of the game, I'll love to see what work West Point put in this week.
Gamboa brings it out. Looks into the width. A little bit of a mishandle, but regathered. Good clearance. Ball is ready to come back out again. Quick play. This is Engels. Once again, looking to dig it out. Brings it back in. That's Lenfer. Now back out again to the pod. Bails out. That's Heller bringing it back out. Again, good clearance, but the hands are on it. Referee says you came around the side. You did not go through the channel. And so Army will have a chance to change and make a decision here with a penalty on Walsh.
Some good looking phase play. Nothing too spectacular. Keeping ball in hand, some powerful runs. We saw that blitz defense, I think, by Walsh, which maybe gave that triangle that John Hartford saw right there, and then we got the hands in. Howie Heller looking to go for points to get West Point on the board.
So Heller, who's transitioned to the 15 jersey, will take the strike. If I recall correctly, he was wearing the 9 last year and has stepped in to fill some big shoes from last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more that Howie Heller has the ball in his hands is the way that Army wins. A great leader and a vice captain during this 25-26 campaign.
Solid strike, looks to be online, and the flags are up. So that will level the score at 3. And with 8 minutes and 25 seconds gone on our clock, we are back to even. Now Army receives the kick, and so I'm sure they'll try to get some traction under them. We heard, you saw, I heard that at Guelph we had a little bit of that comeback as well. You know, sort of got that energy, got things rolling, got on track, and made it happen.
Yeah, it was a bit of a roller coaster. In the second half, or in totality, we played down 20 minutes, 2 yellow cards. So to be able to get that result, test to the coaches and staff and the boys for being in there for 80 minutes. When those finishers came on, that's kind of where we made that 19-point comeback or unanswered points to get that result.
So the kick restart is sent back because they were behind the 22, kicked directly out, which allows it to be a line out where the ball crosses the line to Walsh. So we'll see their first line out and what they've got to offer in the jump. Referee satisfied with the throw. It is fielded. Now it comes out to the backs. Big tackle, but a late offload. A little bit of a mishandle. Good attempt there by Sanchez to come in and try to make a play. Referee says, yep, we're going to play that knock on there, and so Army will get another shot at the scrum.
A good line out by Walsh to retain possession there. West Point's set piece last week was great. 100% in the scrum, 88% in the line out. So we're going to be competing all day. I think Coach Mizell has seen that as a strength in the team and something that we can exploit in these other people. Some pretty good hands through, maybe a little bit of a half gap. Just unfortunate slip by the Walsh player that might have had some green in front of him.
This time of night, certainly the field's a little slick, so that's an adjustment they're going to have to make. But we'll see if Army can capitalize on the small mistake and make something out of this attack. Gamboa puts the ball in. Now the drive. On the back foot, continuing to move. Now it's out.
Advantage.
Nice little kick there into the space. We'll see what kind of ball chase we've got there. Bobbled. Referee says, no, we're going to come back there for the penalty. So that was Schmidlin, the 13, who saw the green space, put it on his foot. It was a really pretty well-weighted kick. Good chase there by the black jerseys.
Obviously, kudos for the pack to earn that penalty right there. But do want to note Court Schmidlin's performance last week, a 2-try performance up in Canada, which was great. Named the Warrior of the Week, which is a prestigious honor on this team to have your peers name you the Warrior of the Week for that victory.
Heller looks to put one in the corner, and referee says, don't see the flag up, so may have crossed the line, the try line. And we've got a little conference there by the AR and the center referee. So we'll find out whether or not it crossed. Referee says, yeah, it did not. It crossed the try line before it went out, and so therefore it's going to come back.
22 drop for Walsh. A bit ambitious maybe for Howie there.
Aiming for the corner, trying to get that strike play, maybe set up the maul, but a little bit long. So now the dropout will be taken by Walsh. The restart is up, and once again it's fielded. This time they decide to run out. That's Wagner with the ball in hand. Gaining a few. Right back out and recycled quickly. Engels looked at the captain, but then brought it back to Sanchez, who drives on and gains some. Now Walsh caught on the wrong side of the ball, but no penalty given. That's Carter. Big, strong body coming through. Now Heller looks. There's the captain, Bardak. Gamboa again. Looking to find some numbers in the width. Bobbled, but brought back in. Well done there on the outside. Continuing to gain some meters. Stays in bounds, and Gamboa recycles again. Got some continuity rolling now. You can see the hands in. Walsh really trying to get their hands on it. Now Gamboa puts one through in the corner. Big chase. And the question is, did it get down? Referee says, we are not sure. Going to discuss that, it looks like, with the AR.
We'll see what they decide there, Mike, but I love that 22-meter drop. We have a back catch that ball, give it to Dakota Wagner. That's probably the last person that the Walsh defense wants to see. A former Army football running back, initially joined the team as a wing, now playing loose head prop for us.
That is a very large wing. Referee says did not get it down. Walsh got it down first, which means that we're going to have a goal line dropout. But I think the takeaway for me there is that clearly Army looking to get on that front foot and attack.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good handling by Matt Leslie to stay in bounds. We'll catch that ball, stay in bounds.
So the restart clears the mandatory 5 and then some, but now it's fielded again by Sanchez.
Goes Dakota Wagner again.
Wagner again. Good footwork, gains a couple more. The ruck is on and sealed. Nice little pop off the ground there. And once again, looks to be Leslie trying to make something happen out there in the width. Driving on. The latch and drive is on. Referee says, yep, play on. We're okay. Carter able to take the tip pass there and drive it on. A little unintentional tip, but it worked out okay. Gamboa still looking. Now brings it out. Again, you can see the ball's a little slick. Lots a little bobbling, but they're able to keep their hands on it. That's Loudbeck getting a few. Little cut inside by Lentfer. Gamboa brings it back out. Nothing there, so drives on for a couple. That's Lidsky. Now Carter. Looking to get a seam. Walsh, defensive shape pretty good, but they do get the penalty. He says you did not release in the tackle. So once the tackle is made, tackler must release before making any attempt at the ball. And it looks like, once again, Army will call the shot and look for the 3-point penalty kick.
A brief second to talk about Isaac Carter right there, who just took that ball in the contact. Already has had some pretty punishing runs. Joined the team last January in tryouts up at Foley Center, up by the football stadium from Pennsylvania, getting his first A-side start after playing 8 or 9 months of rugby. Quite a story there.
That is amazing. Well, I mean, that kind of strength and speed coming through needs to be on the field, right? Pretty simple calculus on that one. Once again, Heller lines up for the kick. This one right on the 22. And splits the uprights to add 3 more. And so Army takes their first lead about 16 minutes in. And certainly we're seeing that front foot rugby starting to come around now. We're starting to see some really nice movement, trying to get that ball moving from side to side on the field, trying to attack the width on both sides. But seems to me pounding up the middle is working out well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, after that first couple minutes, maybe a couple penalties, unforced errors, we're settling in, playing Army rugby.
So the kick is up, goes real wide, and makes its way out. The question is, did it bounce in before it bounced out? And the AR says it did. And so that's going to be a line out to Army, their first of the day.
Super tough call for Matt Leslie over there. Nice kick by Walsh.
Throw is up. Very cleanly fielded. The ball is formed, and they've got some drive on. It's moving well. We'll see if they can keep it organized or if it splits off the back. Still on its feet and moving. Walsh trying to find the sideline with it. Looks to have found ground. Referee is satisfied so far with the way it found the ground, and now the ball is out. Little kick over the top, little box kick by Heller. It's fielded, and Walsh looks to bring it back. Referee says, that could be obstruction. Let's see what we've got here, what the call is. And yes, that is the call. So that obstruction is going to hurt Walsh. It's going to put Army in a real good spot to find the sideline.
Subtle, but I think you already see that improvement in the Army D there. I was paying particular attention to Chance Loudenbach as opposed to shooting up there, potentially making a triangle or a gap, like very relaxed, on his toes, ready to give up that ground with the end goal of getting that ball carrier down.
So this time Heller finds touch easily, and we're maybe 10, 12 meters out, and we would expect to see that maul again. This time it's over the top, so the maul won't happen. Good take there. I believe that was the 8, Duffy. Now, right up the middle, about a meter out. They're trying to get their hands on. They're on top of Gamboa. The arm is out, but Gamboa scores it himself. The penalty arm was out, but the A gap was open, and so Gamboa just picks and goes. Gets 5 points for the men in black, and Heller will follow up for the extras. That's going to bring the score to 11-3 with 19 minutes gone in this first half. So I think, Colin, you're starting to see them get the feel of things and start to get in their rhythm, and, there's a little exhale there, and now the attack is on.
Yeah, I think Coach Mizell down the balcony for us would rather like to see a maul try right there, but the overthrow we gathered nicely. Huge physical run by George Angles, as you commented, now playing flanker out of this typical lock position, and then a little bit of ill discipline by that Walsh team, getting West Point on track.
The extras are good, bringing the score to 13 and a 10-point deficit for Walsh. And so the restart will once again look to be to the far end of the screen, right side of the field, and fielded cleanly. This time it's taken back out on the run. Little isolated, but the ruck and clearance was good. Referee says, yeah, you're okay, just stay where you are, to the Walsh player who was trapped. And now looks to be a bit of a melee, but the ball is available to pick and go. Gains a few, brings it out close to the 10-meter line, or 40-meter if you prefer. And now, little box kick, lined up and over the top. It's got some height, good chase there. The centers and wings are down, and a little offload in contact, and we've got some things rolling. The kick back into space, finds a little green space, and makes its way out. That's a well-placed kick. I think you have to give some respect to the Walsh kicker there for finding just that little tiny kick. Not quite the 50-22 that they were looking for, but close.
Solid job finding that open space over there. I'll be interested to see how this game develops with that box kick by the 9, because we can also compete for that, and I think we're going to make Walsh potentially lull into a sense of confidence that we're going to kick that ball deep and then hopefully get under one soon.
So the maul breaks off. It almost got going too fast and broke itself off, and now Army is looking to pick and recycle, and so far working out just fine. Yeah, I think it's a good thought there. If that box kick's a little shorter, maybe we've got some really tall centers there who can get in under it. And that's exactly what it looks like here. Close. Another meter or two less, and we would have been in good shape there. Kicked back. It's Gamboa on the receipt, who then looks to send it back as well. Big chase on, so players are on side. And now a lot of green space. We'll see what they decide to do. There it is. Isaac Gamboa going to have to sprint to play this ball. A little bit mishandled. The arm is out, which says that it is a knock-on advantage, but that final pass was forward. So look to have the tips pass on and try to put someone into space for a quick strike. Not able to do it, which means we will have the scrum there. So well read by the deep man from Walsh there. He saw that there was a little green space, put a short ball in, challenged Gamboa, and was able to make it work out.
Yeah, Mike, I think they got us out of place there a little bit. Maybe not the correct setup we'd want to get in that kicking battle. Found the chip and chase space after our return by Isaac. Definitely think that was calculated from the Walsh side there.
Yeah. So the scrum is on. Ball is placed. Pretty good shove there by the Knights. Now it's out. And looking to come out the back and bring it out into the width. Going to test the speed there. Good solid tackle by Leslie on a man who was coming at full pace. And now there's that line speed and met well with the double tackle. Ball is available and now out. To the big prop. Gains a few more. Now again, a little redirect out to the far side of the screen. Centers read it, but there are numbers out there if they can bring it. But that pass is jarred loose, and now the pressure comes back up. Big contact there with the double. And referee says it was a little high. So that's going to be a penalty against Army, and we'll go to Walsh for the high tackle.
A little high. I do like the shot. I think a trademark of the game last week was the shots that West Point was throwing into Guelph. Got to get it a little bit lower. Some pretty good phase play, and then a pretty unorthodox shift over there. That maybe got us out of position a little bit. Don't typically see that wild pass back when they had some good phase play going toward the boundary.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting pattern to watch. I have to keep an eye on that. Seen a couple of teams now starting to do like a 3-2 kind of a scenario. 3 phases one way and then immediately 2 the other way. I wouldn't call it trendy. It sort of had me scratching my head a little sometimes, so we'll see what happens. The overthrow goes. That appears to be Wagner again. And now the ball is available. So the overthrow goes the way of Army, in which case they take it up. Now bailout pass. They're going to look to try to exploit some space. Leslie decides to take it himself and go into contact. Now Gamboa recycles. Big hard drive there. I believe that was Angles. Looking to come into the width. Got a little bit of playmaker here. The 12 making his way down to the corner. And in for the try is the 12. I believe that's Loudenbeck.
Chance Loudenbeck with the try there, taking a couple steps back to what led to that. A lost line out by Walsh, got Dakota Wagner in open space, like we just talked about. Don't want to see Dakota Wagner in open space. A huge, powerful run by Landon Duffy, one of the vice captains, giving it to Luke Lenford on the wing. He's about probably the biggest wing in college rugby. He looks like a back rower. Wouldn't want to see him in space, sucking in all those defenders. And then, Chance essentially walked in there in the corner.
Yeah, nice little put away. Saw it, waited for it, baited that final tackler, put Loudenbeck away. So Heller lines up for the extras. Let's call it 7 or 8 meters from the sideline there. So by no means an easy kick, but well within his range. Strike is up. That looks like it might have pushed across the front of the posts, in which case we will not record the extra 2, keeping the score at 18. However, if the game were to stop right now, or at least be in the final moments, we would say that 18-3 is pretty solid. That's a 3-try game, a multi-score game, and I would expect they're going to look to come back and attack again right now. 13 and a half left to play. And Walsh doing, I would say, the majority of the last 10, 15 minutes of defending. This one finds the grass. Fielded, though, after that. Little sidestep there. Now we've got some attack coming out. Leslie looks. Good little drop down for the grubber, but met with contact. Now just beyond the 10-meter line. Walsh takes their shot at it. Little pick and go toward the edge, but not quite out of bounds. Now it comes out. Again, met with the big double, maybe even triple tackle. Got to count the bodies there. Solid double tackle, drives the attacker back. And once again, Walsh is looking to hit those narrow gaps, and they're really just being met with crushing resistance there in the double tackle. Scrummy looks to line up for the box kick, does so. Puts a nice high ball. There's going to be some pressure in a contest, but it looks to be taken well by Leslie. Now the ball out. Gamboa looking to find some space. Again, once again, this is Sanchez looking now back to Gamboa. Now the little offload to Angles. who just absolutely barrels over the center. And now the ball comes out again. A little bit high there. Referee has the arm out, and it appears to be the advantage is being played. Gamboa puts one through. This could be Loudenback again. Fields and dots it down. An exceptional try on the grubber into the corner. Wow.
95 meters right there. A restart by Walsh. How we let it drop, but then attacked out of it. I don't see Army Rugby attack out of the red zone very often, which is a trick up their sleeve that I didn't see coming. And just some great possession, not doing too much. It looked like there could have been an offload thought over there. Kept it in hand and make Walsh make the mistake. Make Walsh play defense. Really encouraging.
And so just like that, scores at 23. And Heller will have a very wide strike. This one inside the 5-meter line, so 3 meters off the sideline. Had the distance last time, just pushed it across the front of the post, so we'll see if he's got some adjustments to make. Strike is up. That one looks to be online. We'll see if he can get there. Oh, also just in front of the posts. Referee stops the clock. It's going to have a conversation there. Not quite sure. So let's see what we've got. It looks like maybe a conversation about a player who was injured, but we're okay. So I'm sure he'll be starting that clock back up here at the center.
Be remiss if I didn't mention that Matt Leslie take as well, which he had to get up for and recovered nicely.
Yeah, that's harrowing work there. The ball coming up way high. You got to get up for it, and you've got someone breathing down your neck. So good job by Matt to do that. Taken out of the air. And now back to work are the big bodies on the base there with pick and go. So as the clock turns on, 30 minutes gone in this first half. Now looks like Heller will line up once again for the box kick. Now this one could be contested, bobbled backward. Referee says we're okay because it went backward. Walsh has the ball, but now the tackle is made and goes out to the right side. Arm is out for the penalty. Not quite sure. Possibly not rolling. We'll see. And looks like it wasn't a clear signal, but I do see someone getting up on the backside. So not rolling away. That will get you. And so Walsh will now looks to be ready to kick for touch there. Fine touch.
Certainly creeping up in the penalty count. I have that as 5 for West Point with a total of 8 last week at Guelph. When we talk about that vigilance aspect that Coach Sherman emphasizes, being on the right side of the law, looking for work early and often. Not a great number to see with 30 minutes elapsed.
So a little under 9 to play. Walsh, I would say, in a good attacking platform here. We'll see if they can get this line out. Be interesting to see if they have them all in their arsenal. We've seen Army flash it a few times, but haven't seen it yet from Walsh. But you might think this is where it would come out. Ball is up. That's not cleanly fielded. Referee says knocked on. So knock on in the line out. Call goes against Army, and so Walsh will scrum about 10, 12 meters out.
Probably the best outcome for Walsh there. I thought we competed well there. Maybe unfortunate to knock that on.
So Aguirre, the number 9, will get Walsh set up. And looks like they're showing a diamond shape, so some options there, a couple of layers. We'll see what they decide to do with the ball, if it's one. Army with a good drive. Ball is coming out, and here it comes. That's the 12. Toluk, and referee says, not, that's a penalty. Did not catch the gesture of what the penalty is, but it will go the way of Army. And looks like maybe could be diving over. I didn't quite see the hand signal there.
And made him walk back a little bit, which makes me think Walsh gave him a little bit of lip. I talked to the coach before talking about that discipline aspect, maybe rearing its ugly head again.
So the ball does not find touch, but yeah, certainly that you'd think that was maybe a disagreement there on the field, and referee says, "No, we don't tolerate that." Another 10. Ball doesn't find touch and comes out the way of Walsh. Now it's picked there by Loudenback, who's going to go in for his third. The hat trick does so with some flair, adds 5, and he is having a game. Just reads that one just right, times it, jumps it, and away we go.
Set up by an absolute shot by, I believe, George Angles. Tried to get the offloading contact and probably didn't earn that one.
That brings the score to 28, and Heller will try to put 2 more on. Kick is up, hits the post, and bounces, unfortunately, in the wrong direction. So those 2 will not be added. The score remains 28-3 with around 35 gone.
Comparing the Walsh lineup to last week or what they played at in Notre Dame, there are some pretty big changes, especially in the playmaker position. A different 9. Their 13 is now playing open side at 7. So I'm not sure if maybe they sustained some injuries and maybe not used to the cohesion that they would like.
Those are definitely some key changes. Pollock puts the ball back up, and it's fielded. Sent back. Start from behind the 22, finds its way directly out, and the AR signals right about at the midline. So Walsh will have the line out and about 50 or so meters to travel if they're successful. Army will look to get up and contest and see if they can win another one. Looks like some conversation there. That's 3. Tanner Smith giving the squad the play. Ball is up. It's stolen. And did not quite check that out. That could have been Schmidlin, the 13, getting in the line out and getting up for that ball. Couldn't quite see the number, but certainly has the height to do it. Now the ball over the top. Going to be a tough bounce with some pressure coming. Little footwork, little show and go. Tries to put one through. Fields it nicely, does a good job to maintain it, doesn't get real far with it, but the idea is there. Now the ball comes out. Big contact, just absolutely punishing contact. And that one looks to have stunned, but not hurt the player, so that's certainly what we're hoping for. Ball retained by Walsh. Now, once again, out into the width, big hard charging run. Met with good resistance. Little flick to the outside, looking to find that edge. Not doing so. Regathered and driven forward another meter. Once again, big contact by Army. Ball out again. Brings it back inside. Again, a bit of an interesting tactic there. Back into traffic. We'll see if that plays out or you're punished for it. Looks to be setting up the box kick. It is up very high, not real far, and looks to have gone directly out. So that will therefore come back, and it will be a little decision here by the Black Knights.
Some real solid defending, and Mike, you mentioned it, putting Court Schmidlin in there. Nice little wrinkle by Coach Mizell. If he's tall, why don't we put him in there, get him up there to compete? And they're having a tough time at that line out.
This time it's taken. That could have been Engels. Brought down. They showed the ball, but Gamboa comes through, loses his footing a bit. And the referee says, yep, you had your hands on it and the lift, and so the not releasing call more than likely there. Yep, there it was. So unfortunate for Gamboa, the victim of the slippery turf there, loses his footing and gets isolated.
The inside ball to Gamboa is an interesting call. I think I'd like our captain Andrew Bardak taking it in there and putting a little punishment on the Walsh defense there. But to comment on the West Point's defense, I think we played some really, really solid defense over there that led to that box kick. You could even hear it up here, the comms that they have that they might not have had last week, which is a great improvement to see.
So the Cavaliers put in 4 for the line out, and they look to do a little bit of movement. They get it this time, bring it off the top. And now, with some runners and some layers, they look to get the offload. Solid tackle, but it's recycled. 23 meters out. Big, hard run, but just continuously met by that resistance. And a real interesting dynamic there on the base. So we often talk about the dark arts in rugby, a little bit of, cheeky stuff. And that time it looked like the Cavaliers were trying to hold the Army player in the contact. Not a bad move if you can get it. That time the offload works out. A little bit mishandled, the knock on, and now Gamboa will take it. So Army dodges a bullet there on that one. Gamboa a little isolated, looking for support, trying to fight and keep his feet. Looks to have worked out. And now that looked to be Heller with the offload. Penalty is awarded for not rolling. And given the position on the field, we would expect the touch finder. So clearly the Walsh players experienced, looking for some of those opportunities. We've seen them really trying to punish Army for being anywhere near the breakdown more than once.
Absolutely, Mike. Not sure where that line break kind of came from. Once again, it comes out of that communication. Are we going to fire up and put some pressure on them, or are we going to give them a couple meters and fight to live another day?
Again, show maul, but they bring it out the back quickly. Back to the centers. Now there's the wraparound. That appeared to be Sanchez coming through with some pace. Does a good job to fight on the ground, keep the ball alive. Referee says there was a penalty, but no advantage was gained. And so looks to be ready for a conference and going to have a little conversation here with one of the Walsh players. I can't quite make out the number. Could be the 7, which would be Grudel. No, that is the 8 talking to the captain. So possibly just a warning, says, look, go back and chat with your team. Maybe too many infringements or some other stuff going on there. But it will be another penalty, and it will go to Army, and we'll see what the decision here is.
Looked like they were already looking to the corner. I'd love to end this first half with an Army maul.
And referee says, yep, we're going to go ahead and take that little strike to the corner. That one is easily into touch, and then some, maybe 7-8 meters out. So yeah, I would expect that we will see that maul. It's been successful. You can see that they've got it once they get the clean ball down. So clean line out, and we should see it. And there it is. This time Walsh sort of knew it was coming. They're going to try to put their best bodies forward and stop it. Referee says that is one stop, but it's moving again. Now Gamboa looks to the corner, and the try is awarded. So deep in the corner, did not catch the number there. That could have been Leslie, the number 11, getting it down in the corner. Congratulations to Matt. So for the fans from New Jersey at home, and for those of us here in the booth with the live stream, that was Morris to Morris connection there, and certainly something that makes us proud to see. So great job, Isaac and Matt.
Good to see that maul rolling. Smart decision by Isaac and Boa to see that space. Rather easy finish when you have that sort of pressure going forward. Looks like we have Dakota Wagner down with a bit of a cramp. It was a warm day here up at West Point, and this is just like a long week for cadets to go to class and practice every day and then show up here at 1800 for this match. It's typically a Saturday game where maybe they can sleep in a little bit, get the nutrition in, but hopefully Dakota can stay in the fight here with us.
Looks to be that the referee says we're going to call that the half. And I did not see. Did they defer the kick there?
I believe he took it, Mike. I think
he did take it. Missed it. Did not see it. Apologies to those at home. So that puts the score at 33-3. After I guess we could call it a little bit of a rocky start there by Army. They sort of settled in, found their groove, and really didn't look back.
Yeah, I completely agree. Gave up 3 points in the first 2 minutes. I think there's 2 unforced errors and a penalty. Nice little shot by Walsh, but it's been the Army story since that moment in terms of possession, shots, attack. Kind of been rather suffocating.
And so at the half, we will put the mics down for a moment, take a quick break. Once again, you're watching Night Vision here on the Army West Point Athletics YouTube channel. My name is Mike Eisenhart, and I'm joined with Colin McGee. It's been our pleasure to bring you this first half of Army Rugby. We'll be back in just a few for the second half. Stick around, and we'll see how this game plays out. All right. Welcome back, sports fans. Welcome back, rugby fans. So, with a couple of minutes left in the half, the teams have made their way back to the field. On the right side of the screen, you see the Army Black Knights. On the left side of the screen, the Walsh Cavaliers. The score line at 33-3 in favor of the Black Knights. Starts us back off. I don't see any changes to the lineup just yet. We'll keep an eye out for that if there's any finishers that have made their way onto the field. But it looks to be Heller with the ball in hand who will get this second half started. Referee looks to the watch and gets it going. And we are again underway. Nice high kick. It's taken and brought down. And Walsh will get to work. Pass a little bit behind, but able to get it and drive on for maybe a meter or two. Met with some resistance there. Hard work there at the breakdown. Referee was okay with the clean out on the captain, Bardak. Arm is out. Looks to be on the head there, high tackle. And so Walsh will get the penalty.
Great individual effort by Landon Duffy to block that kick. Just a couple thoughts as we enter this second half. Some really, really smart decision-making by Army West Point. Some huge shots in defense. I think if there were some build-ons, you talk about that penalty count with 6 in the half. I know Coach would mention that. Perfect on attacking lineouts, which is great. You know, if I was Walsh, this unpredictable attacking style has gotten some shoulders through. And then we were talking during the half, Mike. Their kicking is effective and quite strategic, but as you see the scoreboard, maybe a little late to make that your main strategy.
So the overthrow goes the way of Army once again, and that could have been Wagner taking the ball. Through the hands, little kick attempt there. Walsh is able to dive on it and get it back for their team. So Cavaliers will get to work here just outside the 22. There's that kick you're describing. Does take a nice bounce and finds its way to the touch line. The question is, was it touched by an Army player? And the AR is signaling it was not. So it's going to be a line. Oh, wait, could have been a touch there.
It looks like it will be Walsh line out. It seems like they did assess that Isaac did touch it once again. Nice little kick into space, put us under pressure. 5-meter scrum Walsh.
So Walsh has to be happy opening the second half this way. Looking to get that line out, but it is stolen, and Army is able to bring the ball down. And referee signals a penalty. So says, Walsh, you were high. And so this could be the pressure relief that Army would hope for in this spot.
Doing productive things is Walsh, but just kind of getting dominated in lineouts here.
So the kick is up. It's a big kick, plenty of length, but does not find touch. And so now it's going to be brought back. Little flat ball back, bounces in and bounces out. So this time it will go to Army. And that's going to be right around the 22 meters. So about 20 meters or so. So certainly being behind the 22, you would expect them to set up the exit here. Let's see what happens.
Almost a 50-22, Mike. I guess they played that ball into the Walsh half.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Yeah, that's a very interesting observation. I mean, I don't know where he was starting from. You would expect if it bounced across that 22 that it should be their ball.
And it looks like
it is. Okay, so there you go. Well, good pickup by you. The 50-22 keeps the momentum into Walsh's hands. Big attempt there for the steal, but Walsh able to gather. So again, for those at home who don't know the specifics of the game, the 50-22 is if you kick the ball from inside your half, on your defensive half, and it travels beyond the attacking 22, your opponent's 22, and goes out of bounds, you get the line out. And now Walsh is looking to gain some meters. There's a bit of a mismatch there on the bodies. Couple of picks, expecting some more. Bobbled, but backward. Ball, referee says the ball's out. And now back to work on that little pick and go. They're about 6 meters out. See what kind of control and discipline we've got here. Did not gain much there, so good contact by Army. Bobbled forward, and now it's out on the advantage. Gamboa in a foot race looks to put one out, takes the punishment for it, but is able to drive that ball not before a penalty occurs. Referee unhappy, possibly with the no wrap tackle. Can't tell if that is the call there, but tackled a man without the ball, and so Army will get back to work. So you mentioned that discipline. You've mentioned it a couple of times now, and it looks like that is coming back to hurt them. That sequence, they had some real momentum there, and now Army with the ball 12 meters out.
Yeah, good pressure relief that we needed there.
Line out is successful. Maul is formed, and they're going to try to get this drive on. Met with resistance, but it is moving forward. Referee satisfied. Looks like Walsh has come through the middle, but it's still moving forward. Big fight there. 2 meters out. Ball's available. Gamboa looks to put angles in. About 1.5 meters. Met with some good force there. Good defense by Walsh. Looking to attack the line, and over the line, that would be Carter, the sophomore, who dots it down and adds 5 to the total.
Isaac Carter on debut with a try. Really, really cool to see that. 8 or 9 months of rugby, scoring a try at this level. Just an absolute athlete, smart, really good teammate.
Looks like we've got some substitutions who are going to be making their way onto the field. So Army able to do what they had hoped to do, come out and get some early points in the second half, and that allows some of the finishers to get on to the game. Heller lines up for the kick. We'll bring you those substitutions as soon as we have them. This kick is up and finds the uprights, bringing it up to 40.
The captain's off. Andrew Bardak, our 3 try scorer. Chance Loudenback is off. Landon Duffy, Howie Heller, and we'll get you who is on in a second.
So Coach Sherman takes 4 of the starters and adds finishers in here with 32 left to play. And a comfortable 40-3 lead. Kick is up. Once again, fielded by Gamboa, who looks to send it back. It's returned. And now it's brought back out. Little footwork and met with some resistance. Little handoff there in the offload. That was effective. Not held in the tackle, so gets up and charges again. Now the ball comes back out. Oh, chipped through. And that appears to be Leslie, who's going to find one of our finishers wearing the 22 jersey, who's going to make his way to the posts and add another 5 points.
Coach stresses finishers, you need to add something. You need to bring value to the game. No better way to do that than to score a try in your first minute by Ricky Corbett, who will now kick over the kicking duties as well.
So Corbett enters the game, and within a minute later adds 5. Able to take that final pass at pace and do the job, get the points. Lines up for a kick in front of the posts. A little bit of a charge, but the kick is up and good. And so that is going to bring the score to 47. Looks to me like possibly Wagner also making his way off. So we will continue to find those substitutions for you as we see the numbers.
Jacob Botterini on for Dakota Wagner. A great shift by Dakota. Joey Knight on as well. Brock Anderson.
Referee says time is off as one of the Walsh players gets assessed. So trainer makes their way out, and we'll go ahead and stop the clock. So fresh legs on, and the score now at 47-3. What do you expect we'll see next? More attacking? Looking to refine anything? Just keep the work rate up?
Yeah, it's interesting. You have a lot of finishers that might have been starters last week in Guelph, which won't be a welcoming sight for Walsh. And I'm sure these finishers are eager to get on there and make their difference.
Angles takes the ball. Immediately the maul is formed, and in come the Walsh players. But the ball is still moving forward. Referee says, yep, original ball. Got a penalty arm up, possibly for collapsing it. And referee says, yep, you were on the wrong side of this thing, and so therefore it's going to be a penalty flag. So the touch finder is up and does exactly that. And it's Anderson with the ball in hand who will handle the throwing duties. Referee once again says the time is off, and it looks like
the one substitution that I do need to clean up is Jack Reed now at outside center for us, and John Harford just came out with Liam Walsh on the pitch for the Black Knights now.
Ball comes out quickly. A little bit of a latch. Walsh unsatisfied with that pass. Thought maybe it was forward. Schmidlin. Now Engels. Looked to be a little high. Carter plays on. A little bailout pass. Oh, unfortunate. The offload was on. The pace was on, but it was bobbled, knocked on, and a little bit offline there, and so it's going to be a scrum to Walsh. I think they're going to be happy that that worked out that way because there was some real pace coming to the outside.
It's a tough bump pass for that forward to get that to that playmaker behind, maybe a little off target by Isaac Carter, and then just like anything, one small mistake might be compounded on the next one. You know, if you're not catching that ball where you want it, it always makes it difficult to push it to the next player.
So here's the call. Referee says we're gonna start it again. The alignment not good enough, so make a couple simple changes and redo it. So 2/3 of a new front row there with Botterini and Anderson. Carter remains as the lone starter in the front row. We've got Knight at the 8-man position. And we'll see if they can get their drive on. Ball is placed. It's turning a little, but it is maintained. Brought in. And now look to be running it out. Gamboa with a solid strike, but not able to hold the tackle. The substitute, the new fresh legs for Walsh, able to gain a few. Now the ball comes out again. Looking to attack the edge. And this is a player who's been quiet tonight on the edge there, but from what I understand, has some real pace. So looking to spring him loose, but the shift was on. Good cleanup tackle there by Carter. Ball was a little choppy and was able to be there. Thought about the box kick perhaps, but instead the charge down, and it is going to work out quite well if you are Hemmen. The charge down bounces right back to him, and he's able to regather it, bring it in, and dot it down for 5 more.
So I apologize for missing George Hemmen coming on as a finisher. Last week he came in that last 20 to 30 minutes of game up in Guelph. Had a try as well there that really honestly turned the tides for the Black Knights. Once again, great individual effort. Block that kick, chase it down, and dot it down.
That was no small kick by the sound of it. So that charge down was well done and got his hands right where he needed them to be. Corbett will take the kick for extras just outside the 22 and closer to the midline, the 15-meter, but not exactly. Drills it, but it's a little bit wide of the post, and so score remains at 52. 52-3 to the Black Knights. And they will once again receive the ball. So this is certainly not what we expected in the first 2 minutes, but it's really been Army, all Army since then, since those first maybe 3 to 5 minutes. And it just seems to be the gap widening and maybe getting out of touch here for Walsh Cavaliers. It's a big driving kick, fielded by Corbett, who looks to send it back, puts some air under it, brings it to about midline. It's fielded. Little kick over the top. Nice hop, but handled. Good charge in the air. Referee has the arm out for a penalty. Not quite sure what the call is, but we'll find out. Walsh will play the advantage. Big, solid tackle. And referee, okay, not a penalty advantage, maybe just a knock-on advantage. So it was knocked in the air by the Army player. So no penalty, just a knock-on, which means that we will see a scrum to Walsh.
Some solid tactical kicking, got them in a scrum center, options left and right. Interesting to see what Walsh does here with a playmaker and a playmaker stacked behind the scrum here. Typically, I think they'll attack left to keep this with some right-hand passing, but we'll see what Walsh does.
Probably the best attacking position for them, certainly of this half. Well, maybe that line out in the corner, but this is a good place to be. And here it is to the left, as you suggest. And they're looking to find that trailing runner. Doesn't gain much, but is able to get the ball into the hands of the next Cavalier, and they are just inside their 22. So getting into that attacking zone, looking for points. Prop is met by big contact. And now back out to the right. That little offload showed, but kept the ball himself. And they're going to look to recycle it and bring it in again. Ball out to the wing. Tries to step back inside. Now we're going to swing at the other side. Here comes the contact. You can see the Walsh players really expecting the contact at this point. They're sort of ducking that shoulder down and expecting to get hit. There's the offload, mishandled, knock-on advantage. Brought into the 22. Referee says, yep, no advantage gained, and we'll come back for the scrum. So the mishandle there hurts them. They had a couple of phases rolling. Making a ton of penetration, but you could see the idea.
Couple of one-up runners. Some pretty good stops there. The inside ball, I think, was a good option there. Just it's been a little slippery. You've commented on it as well. Like they're not. Both sides aren't having clean catch, clean pass. Still have Gabe Savage as a finisher. Still getting Isaac Carter some valuable playing time.
Coming up on 20 minutes gone here in the second half. So let's call that 3/4 in. Gamboa sets up. Free says, not collapsed, went straight down. So no infringements there. We'll just keep it the same way and redo it. So a couple of adjustments being made there. Possibly changing the mark a bit. Maybe trying to find a little more firm ground to work with.
When you have props like Jacob Honorini, Isaac Carter, Gabe Savage, Dakota Wagner, you're not really concerned about their ability to go 80. It's just that tactical decision on when's the best time to bring them off. Gabe Savage had about a 30-meter run last week up in Guelph, a Kentucky hurdler in high school. Isaac Carter broke about a 40-meter run. You know, these guys are chiseled and can go 80 if they're asked any day of the week.
Good problem to have if you're Coach Sherman. That time Walsh gets the penalty. Did not see a clear signal, but looks like maybe lost the bind. And so they will line up to get into the corner. And the touch finder is up. Finds it easily. And so 18 meters or so away from getting some points in this second half. Although I would say that you have to put a question mark on this particular thing. Army has really dominated the line out, which makes you wonder if this is as easy as it should be or as easy as we think it might be. We'll see if Army gets up after this one. And it is batted back, so not a clean line out, but there's the charging runner. Looked to be a penalty to Army. Again, tackling the man without the ball. So the shove off there to the Army player coming through the space. I did not catch the number, but the batted back line out, charged aggressively, and then shoved out of the way of the ball. And so that's a penalty all day.
Yeah, 52-3, Army West points up. Walsh decides to go to the corner, and it's very common right now to have a penalty play. They're probably a little far from a penalty play, but maybe keep ball in hand there and try to get on the scoreboard as opposed to going to something that hasn't been working very well.
So Schmidlin looks to kick, didn't find touch, but it actually worked out well if you're Army because the Walsh player caught it in front of the 22, sent it directly out. So again, for those who are new to the game, if you're beyond your 22 and you kick it directly out, it's going to come back to the spot of the kick. Army takes the ball, now swings it, and gets back to work. About 30 or so meters out, they're going to look to attack. Good tackle there by the 15 from Walsh. Gamboa looks to play. Not a lot of protection there around the base. And this player is offsides this time, and so the referee has it. Says you came across the line. Again, must be at the back foot of the hindmost player, and that was clearly beyond that line. Referee stops the clock and says, we're going to have a conversation about this one. And doesn't appear to be going to his pocket, but going to have a little chat with the captain and try to get this squared away.
Mike, I saw the penalty the play before, honestly. It looked like one of their props was in that ruck, leaves the ruck, and then plays the 9. New law. Can't do that.
Can't do that. Can't do that. If you're in the ruck, you cannot go through and play there. So maybe got away with that first one, but not the second one. Clock is back on. And they find touch. Army finds touch at about 18 meters or so, maybe a little less, maybe 15 meters.
Absolute shift by Isaac Carter. First A-side start. Dotted down a try. A 60-plus minute performance. Really good start to his A-side career.
Ball is on. They drive. Still moving forward. Gamboa directing traffic. Now it's brought down. Referee says not brought down legally, which means Walsh must have collapsed it, and the penalty arm is out. Gamboa says we're going to try anyway. Looks to put somebody through. That's Leslie. And referee says there's no advantage gain there, so we're going to call the penalty. And now, for repeated infringements, we would expect maybe someone going off for this one. And the referee does appear to go to the pocket. And we've got a player who is going to be sent off. And so, with somewhere around 17 minutes left, the Walsh Cavaliers will be down a player for 10 of those 17.
Add that is 13 penalties for Walsh on the night.
Right at the 5 meter, they go to the first channel there, that near player. And a meter out, Army looking to punch it in. Close. Referee looking, spots the ball, says it's available. Again, looking to punch it in. Walsh doing a good job of being in the right position there to defend right on the line. Gamboa looks out into the width, and that's Schmidlin who comes around the side and gets it down. So good vision there by Gamboa. Schmidlin, sneaky little run on the outside, calls for the ball, and dots it down in the corner. Brings the score to 57. About a minute after the yellow card. So about 9 minutes left on that yellow card. 16 or so left to play. And Corbett will have a kick from nearly the touchline.
Still 15 minutes remaining in this contest, but 2 Army penalties compared to a Walsh 6. I commented on the penalty count from the first half. Looks like that's trending in the right direction for Army.
Strike is up. It's curving, and it looks like it's through. Really great strike there by Corbett. That had kind of a fade there on it. Struck that near post and then just kind of faded back in. Brings the score to 59-3. And I think he's got to be happy with that strike.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. They talk about Ricky Corbett's infamous boot on display there, right there. We had a great angle to watch it, too.
You sort of see that curve, that nice slow draw. Might like that if you're a golfer. Ball back to Army. Couple of tackles broken. Gamboa looks to bring it fast. Once again, out into the space. Big numbers here. Schmidlin drops it to his foot, but that one's going to find touch. Army signaling that they think it may have made contact with a Cavalier. And the referee says, indeed, it did. And so the lineout will go to Army right here at the 10-meter line. So 40 meters out, show the ball, bring it out. There's that slick handle again. That time bobbled on the ground, and the knock-on will go the way of the Cavaliers.
No compete in the air by Walsh. Maybe that ball wasn't the most straight, but if you're not competing, you don't get a say in the matter.
I like that law. Me
Absolutely.
personally, I like that one. I mean, if you're not going to get up there and contest it, why should it have to be straight?
Don't want to reward nothing.
Yeah, and it gives you an advantage to not contest, right? I mean, why not defend if you don't have to? Big drive by Army, and it is one. And so stolen with the arm out says that in addition to being stolen, there's a penalty. So I think Army's going to feel real good about that one. The finishers come on and do something, just as you suggested. And the front row from Walsh not able to maintain their position, and referee gives a penalty. This one is not going to find touch. Bounces into the try zone where it will more than likely be touched down. It is, and so we will have a restart. Here's the goal line dropout. Again, for those at home, it's got to travel 5 meters, but almost all teams are looking to drive it as far as possible to get it out of the zone.
They had that Walsh scrum a bit on skates there. When you bring Jacob Botterini and Gabe Savage in 60-plus minutes into a contest, I think that's what the result is.
Taken from Leslie. And smashing. But referee says, no, that one, unfortunately, that one's illegal. So Cavaliers will get their chance to push it to the sideline where they'll try to find touch. Decides to go long, does not find touch, and it's brought back. Army looking to run into space. That tackle appeared to be a little high, but referee says we're going to play on there. Gamboa now brings it out. Good footwork there, and Army able to fight on the ground. There's the bailout runner. Oh, the offload screaming runner coming up the side there, but not quite able to find that. That was Angles. Referee says you were offside, and so once again another penalty and stoppage of the clock. So maybe another conversation here with the captain. Referee is certainly gesturing as if he's unsatisfied with the repeated infringements, and that may have been what got them in trouble the last time and sent off their player, who, by my calculations, is about 6 minutes in to a 10-minute card.
A name that we have not mentioned as much as that we should have is Noah Sanchez at our fly half position, leading the troops around down there.
Ball is sent back from within the 22, finds touch. And so Cavaliers will try to find some pressure relief and see if they can maybe get up and steal this ball. Army forms quickly. Again, that's something that I've noticed. They really like to get that line out formed and that ball in. And you would, I guess, suspect that the fitness is there. They know their fitness is there, so why not push the pace of the game? Solid slicing little run there. Finding some space. Now, referee appears to be calling from the side, and it's going to have a conversation now because that's the second one. Conversation with the captain. Says, go have a chat with your team, and let's get this sorted out. So what I'm seeing there, and I'm not quite sure if I've got the hand gestures right, is that they're coming in from the side on the breakdown. So again, for those at home, there's a very distinct channel and laws about how wide you can run through that channel. You have to come straight through the channel, which is made by the bodies of the person in the tackle. And if you're not quite following, that means that they're not running through that channel. They're coming around or coming from the side, which is, of course, not allowed. So Liskey, the acting captain, talks to his team. And now Walsh will look to get this line out. Some movement. And hand is placed on it by Army, and it is stolen. So once again, Army really very effective defending the line out. And they'll get back to work. Gamboa looks to dig it out. Possibly a box kick coming. Decides instead to bring it back. And into space it goes. It's mishandled, may have gone forward. Referee says, no, backward, play on. Now let's see what the call is here. No wrap tackle, it looks like. So tackled before. So maybe not a no wrap tackle, but a tackle without the ball. So hit you before you had the ball. And of course, can't tackle the person if they don't have the ball. Kick is not fine, does not find touch, and now will be sent back. A booming kick sent back. And the AR signals just on Army's side of the middle. So about 8 meters from midline, Walsh will once again have the line out.
I think I heard Coach Sherman down there telling Ricky to get that to touch, and he did just that.
This one not straight, goes to the way of Army, and backward, referee says, so Army will retain the ball. A little bit of a shirt tackle there. And back to work. Hard contact, gains a few. Looks to get over the midline. Not a lot of space to work with here on the sideline. That was Botterini who gained some before, and now looks to go again. Drives on, just absolute great work there by the latching player. That could have been Engels wearing the 6 and still on the field. Big, strong drives. Little chip over the top. Schmidlin on the chase. And referee says, no, you were offsides on the kick. So Walsh is going to get a chance to send it back. So Army players could have released a little early. Referee thinks released a little early. And it looks like the yellow card has been called back on. So
I'm not sure the chip and chase was exactly on. I like being a little cheeky and creative, but the way we were getting that go forward ball with the forwards and sucking those defenders in, maybe something in the back line would have been more effective.
So referee's got the clock stopped for a moment. It looks like some substitutions or maybe a visit from the trainer for the prop from Walsh Cavaliers. He's had a punishing game, so I'm sure those legs are feeling a little sore. Makes his way to the sideline, and we'll wish him the very best as he gets some stretch. Touch finder is successful. About 8 meters past the midline.
Probably an adequate time to start bringing up what's looking to the West Point future, heading down to Marietta, Georgia for another clash with Life University next Saturday. Luckily, I guess we got a little bit of a longer week in our effort down there, but I know that will be a special game.
So Botterini takes the line off the errant throw and runs it about, 30 meters himself. So just as you mentioned before, has the legs to do it. Now the ball back out. Liskey thought about the offload, but kept it himself. Now Gamboa. A little bit of a choppy pass out into the corner. This is Leslie trying to keep it. Again, slippery ball, but went backward. Referee says we're still okay to play on. This time it squirts forward, and so the knock-on advantage will go to Walsh. No advantage gained, and so it'll be a scrum to Walsh.
I know that live contest has been marked on the calendar for all our Army rugby fans and the team here after coming off a 1918 loss in the playoffs last year. So looking for revenge down in Georgia next Saturday will be a huge game for West Point.
Yeah, I did not have the fortune of attending that game, but saw the score line, and what a heartbreaker that was. So I'm sure they've been chomping at the bit to get back there. So the clock ticks down. We've got about 5 on the field and slightly less here in the booth. So referee going to reset the scrum. Getting late in the day, just sort of saying, hey, let's make sure we're still online. Let's make sure everybody's in good alignment and position and make sure we keep it safe. Now the ball is placed. And it's brought out. They're going to run out of their zone there. Going to try to make something happen, keep the ball in hand. This late in the game, got to take a shot at something, so why not that? Back out. Good pressure by the Army defense. Able to shed one tackler, but not the second. Walsh goes back to work. Again, big numbers there. Able to get 2 on. Bonnerini tried to rip it, but not successful. Good contact work there by the Walsh player. Scrum half looking to get it in position, possibly a box kick coming up. There it is. Gamboa calls for it, fields it. Nice little step and makes some stuff happen. Midland brings it back in. And now back to work. Out the back. Corbett out the back again. And Walsh thought they had their hands on the ball, but referee says, no, let it go. Army latches. And now the tackle. Walsh trying to keep him on his feet there, but not able to do it. Clock continues to tick down, and the arm is out. So another infraction, going to result in a penalty. And referee says, yep, not an advantage gain there, so we're going to go back to it. And did not catch the call, but it looks like Army will try to put it in a touch and get that line out on. Off the left boot of Schmidlin, finds touch easily.
Some great footwork down right in front of us by Isaac Gamboa. Going to put in an 80-minute performance tonight.
Once again, the ball forms and gains some meters. This time it finds ground, and referee's okay with the way it did so. Little step to the inside, and referee says lost the handle on the ground. So knocked forward in the tackle, and so Walsh will get the scrum down. We've got a minute or so, a minute and a half on the field, and our clock is showing that we're into the extras. So referee, of course, keeps the clock on the field, and that will be the official clock. Our game clock is showing a minute 20. And so I guess at this point, it's probably a good time to just bring up really players that stood out for you, people that you thought had a great game. I mean, there's a lot, plenty of highlights, plenty of things to talk about. I mean, I think the obvious one, could be Loudenbeck, who dotted down 3. That seems like an obvious choice. But anybody who you thought had a real solid game, who would you maybe shout it out to?
Once again, just want to point out Isaac Carter. Great to see him getting his first A-side action. Really, really good. Some players who went 80 tonight. Matt Leslie right in front of us. 80-minute performance. Noah Sanchez, Isaac Gamboa, Court Schmidlin.
And for me on the Walsh side of the ball, I think going to give some credit to their hooker, Garrett O'Connell, who's really been around the pitch quite a bit, really running hard into contact most of the night, into some very, very hard contact. I might add, and just kind of kept it coming. I thought their 14, Nathaniel Greenfield had a nice game, and had a couple of moments that he really shined in the width, but not able to maybe get those final bits down and get the points that he was maybe hoping for on a couple of runs. Referee takes a look at the watch, and we have a little bit of a power surge. It appears that clock on the field there is off. And so referee is going to decide how much more time we've got as things come back online.
George Engels also went 80. Dylan Liskey went 80. Luke Lenford went 80. Always an impressive feat. Important to note.
Big angle by the front row there. Referee seems okay with it. Good strong work, and looks like we're going to get one out and possibly here to the observation deck. Schmidlin tries to take out our camera, but unsuccessful. And that's going to be it. Referee is going to blow the whistle and call it there. So on behalf of Night Vision, the Army Athletics YouTube channel, and the Army Black Knights, it's been a pleasure to be with you. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on this big, dominant win by the Army Black Knights, 59-3. Tom, it's been great being with you. Thanks so much for joining me once again, and we will see you again in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Mike.